Hello and welcome. My name is Darren Foster from inthetreeshealing.com, and what you're about to see is the remains of the steamship the W.L Wetmore. Built in Ohio in 1871, this wooden steamer ship had a length of 213.7 feet and weighed 819 tons, and was owned by J.H. Palmer of Cleveland, U.S. Registry 80196. The ship was coming from Perry Sound, where she had loaded up with a large amount of timber and was headed for Tonawanda, New York. The Wetmore also had two other barges in tow, the James C. King, a 175-foot barge, and the Brunette, a 215.8-foot barge. Both were loaded with lumber as well. Having almost completed their trek across Georgian Bay, the ships and crew were confronted by an unrelenting November gale/snowstorm. Captain John O'Hagan had made the decision to steer the Wetmore towards the shelter of Tobermory Bay, but lost his bearing. He later said that the storm had made it impossible to see the Tobermory lighthouse lamp. The ships had unknowingly gone past Tobermory westward by over 2 miles. O'Hagan's first indication that the ship was off course came unexpectedly at 2 a.m. that November 29th morning in 1901. There was an ominous thump on the steamer's wooden hull as it passed over the submerged rock. Before the engines could be stopped, the Wetmore hit the rock and the ship's propeller blades were stripped. After that, the Wetmore, along with the King and Brunette, drifted out of control and began to pound against the shoal rocks of Russel Island's northwest shore. Lifeboats on the King and Wetmore were swept away by the storm. The only available lifeboat was on the Brunette, which was used by sailor John Flanagan, as he was lowered into it after suffering a broken leg when it got caught between the tow line from the Wetmore to the Brunette. The line had to be cut to set the sailor free, and this is probably what actually saved the Brunette from a watery grave, as the barge flew off to another area and grounded in soft mud and was later salvaged. As it seemed too dangerous to remain on board, the 27 crewmen fled the vessels and swam a half-mile to shore in the frigid water. Sailors Albert Drager and John Halloran told the Free Press in 1901 that they all swam to the island and battled the snowstorm and severe cold for 36 hours before being rescued. They said everyone survived because of teamwork. Once on shore, everybody worked together to find a shelter and keep each other warm. Wood was gathered and a bonfire was kept fed throughout the night. The fishing tug Glucas saw the bonfire the next day and rescued the stranded sailors. All had survived. The men said that the Wetmore was breaking up the last time they saw her. Both the Wetmore steamer and the King barge were non-salvageable due to the extent of their damage from the rocks. Today, as you can see, the starboard sides of the Wetmore have collapsed and now lie alongside the bottom of the hull. At the south end of the wreck, there is a huge rudder with 15-foot blade and sheared-off propeller with 25-foot-long drive shaft with the ship's boiler, which rises 15 feet off the lake bed bottom. There is a large length of chain and an impressive anchor on the wreck's north side. This wreck is an example of the construction of the ships of this time period, and as you can see, the scarp joints and hanging knees. I hope you've enjoyed this video and this small piece of Canadian/US naval history. My name is Darren Foster from inthetreeshealing.com. Thank you for watching.